Everybody. I'm Devon
Welcome.
O'Day,
I'm Teri Pugh.
and we're here for Launch Date, launching into a new life path toward joy and happiness. And a lot of people have lived their lives, Terry, for so long now in an uncomfortable, it's become so familiar that they don't want to leave it because they're afraid of what might be out there.
It's called the uncomfortable comfortable. We stay in a very familiar yet incredibly uncomfortable and painful place because we're a bit leery of branching outside to find out what's there. Sometimes that's because of self-doubt, and other times it's because we have been modeled a fear-based belief system. And both
Speaking
of
of
those are dead ends.
speaking of that fear base, we have the buzzword we're unpacking the suitcase in the next few weeks is the narcissist. That is, it's a big buzzword. People are talking about it now. They're shining the light on that demon that is in our midst. It's a
Mm-hmm.
spectrum. Let's begin there. It's a spectrum. Then there are a lot of people. It's not just there's the little, I always say that the people who are the taking too many selfies or very self-absorbed. That's okay. We're getting into the malignant, the people who are harmful to your very core. And they're people, you posted something this week on Transcending Turbulence, which is Teri's page. We're going to talk about what
Yes.
we have given up, what we can no longer do in a relationship with a narcissist.
Yes.
And we're going to unpack this suitcase.
Absolutely. And I want to point out real quick that, yes, narcissism is a spectrum. There's a large, we go from, like you said, too many selfies and, gosh, I look great in these jeans kind of thing, all the way to the malignant narcissist, which is a highly dangerous to other people's psychological, mental, emotional well-being all the way around.
And physical.
Physical, absolutely. And their spiritual.
All the way to that. And so if you're in that situation, we're going to unpack that a little bit. And if you realize, if you go down this list, you might not even realize you're in that situation, and you might be waiting for it to change. You might be thinking you can change it. Okay, let's just get that out right now. You cannot change that.
You will not change a narcissist. And there is a big difference between, narcissist, that word, you're absolutely right, Devin. It's thrown around as a buzzword, right? Narcissist, people will say, they're bipolar, or they're narcissist, they're OCD. We have a lot of buzzwords that are kind of thrown away haphazardly these days. And the truth of the matter is, these are all diagnosable conditions and disorders. So we need to, one, bring some awareness around being mindful not to call everybody who's just a jerk a narcissist, because they're not. They're not. I mean,
No.
we might like to think that, but they're really not. And so this level is not just they're just kind of a jerk and I don't like them, they're a narcissist kind of thing. We're talking about people that are and can be deadly.
Right.
To not only physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual, and all of the other well-being states that we have. So that's where we're leading into with this post that I posted earlier about the things that we find that we're no longer doing these things when we're in a relationship with a true narcissist. And some of that is finding peace. I'm not talking about going out in the backyard and looking at daisies, although you might be questioned as to why you're doing that too, because maybe you're accused of having an affair with a neighbor or the mailman. But, there's all kinds of peace of mind and just a piece of being able to have peace in your own head.
Right. There's that horrible feeling, and I always call it when anxiety, that lack of peace manifests and it becomes sickness. For many people, a physical illness, it manifests that way. That thing where you go, I don't know, but my stomach is just messed up. I'm in knots. I am not able to sleep. And it can manifest in very serious illnesses too. Your immune system goes down. That's what we're talking about, not being able to find peace.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the second one too. And this is important. The isolation of being in a relationship with a narcissist. You realize that you have fewer and fewer and fewer friends. You don't pick up your phone if they call and the narcissist is with you.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about how that happens.
Well, people will slowly be put in positions where it's me or you, me or them kind of thing. You know, it's you're choosing them over me. You know, why do we always have to go over there? We would have so much fun. I don't feel good. There's all sorts of very, very, very subtle ways that people that are jerks and also people who are diagnosable narcissists, um, they begin to chip away at and also triangulate and cause problems with your friends or your family. And you find that suddenly you feel that what you're talking about, they're not even butterflies. It's like pterodactyls gone amok
Yeah.
in the stomach, where you want to even ask, hey, my friend's going to go out and go to a movie. They want me to go. You don't even bring that up because it will become an issue, or there will be accusations made about, a, a, an assortment of all sorts of things. So,
right. There are people who are weighing in. Elizabeth shares, when you know a true narcissist, you realize the jerks are nowhere near the same level. Truth.
absolutely, Elizabeth, absolutely.
Candy shares been there, and you do know if you've been in the midst of it, it's nothing short of evil. It really is. There is a look
Mm-hmm. Yes.
in the eye of call it dead eyes, but it's terrifying if you're with someone on the spectrum, on the far end of the spectrum.
Yes.
And I want to go back to the list now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize that intimacy cannot be achieved with a narcissist, you're always a yo-yo. They
Mm-hmm.
love you, they don't. You're accepted, you're not. You're good, you're bad.
And that is the way they design it. The narcissist designs the relationship so that and I'm going to use the word victim, so that their victim never has stable ground to stand on. And I know never and always are absolutes, and we try to steer away from those best we can, but they never want them to have stable ground to stand on. This allows them to keep a hold over you mentally, emotionally, and even financially and physically.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know,
cannot you cannot be good enough, efficient enough, love big enough to fill that void in the narcissist. They will never be completely satisfied. You go, now we're in a good place forever. That's never going to happen. Never.
no. You can clock it by the watch. It will change again. And another part about the intimacy, intimacy is not just sexual intimacy, which that is a hard grasp to obtain with a narcissist as well, because there's always comparisons. Um, and then there's also emotional intimacy, where the vulnerability comes in, and we um, want desperately to be intimate emotionally with them. However, they don't have a capacity for that. And you find out at the end of your journey with a narcissist that they have
Mm-hmm.
basically been sucking all of that information out of you in order to turn it around and build a nuclear bomb that will level you in the end.
Which it takes us to number 4, which is trusting yourself. It erodes that ability to go. They make you doubt every single thing, even the things that you are a genius at. I said, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
got their stroke of genius. That's the thing they're going to attack first. They're going to attack the thing that you're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can make you doubt that, then the things that you aren't necessarily that sure of, you will never try those. And so if you're really good at finances, they're going to attack that. If you're
They, mm-hmm. They'll attack your finances. They'll attack your ability to connect with people. They'll attack your if you're a musician, an artist on any platform. That's great, but are you sure you really want to? And they'll start with little passive aggressive manipulative comments until they whittle your points away to just kind of nubs, and then they go for the jugular. So at that point, they have taken full control. And not only have they taken it, we unconsciously, unknowingly have given it to them willingly.
Yeah, Elizabeth Way's happy even when they get what they think they want. They will gaslight their target at every possible opportunity. There's a new buzzword. It's well, not a new buzzword, but it's a new buzzword for us to talk about gaslight. We're going to unpack gaslight in another episode fully, but just briefly, it's when they tell you that the moon is blue and you believe them.
Well, because if you don't believe them, there's going to be a repercussion to that. If you don't believe them, there's a consequence of having something withheld, having affection withheld, having conversation withheld, having love, having finances withheld. There's always something they can withhold from us because they have vetted us and they know what to withhold.
Man, I tell you what, we're getting high fives. People who have been part of this. Mona, that was married to one for 20 years, sucked the life right out of me. I am a survivor. And that's where we get after we get out. So I want to tell everybody who's listening, we're going to give you tools at the end of this list to get out and to get better. And Elizabeth, I'm so glad you got out. You are a survivor. Yes, indeed. I love that you guys can interact and because the support, when you stop getting your friends and you start getting isolated, you don't have that support. Well, we're here to tell you that you do have the support if you reach out. Okay. I'm going to move back to the list because we're down to fulfilling your dreams. One by one, they start falling away.
One by one, they start falling away. And one by one, we will willfully give them away. And we give them away because ultimately, a person that is in a relationship with a narcissist, they didn't consciously choose this, but they did meet someone that they felt connected to, because the narcissist does not show up like the narcissist when you're meeting them. They show up as the ideal. And so, we're willing to compromise. And that's what it starts with. Compromising on the dreams, compromising on maybe having children, or compromising on the job, or compromising on the dream that you have about, maybe it's a degree, or maybe it's art, or whatever it is. They will begin to challenge those dreams, because those dreams take up energy that they would rather have devoted to them.
Yes. Here's something else that I found. They will convince you that the dreams weren't really yours to begin with. They'll convince you that someone else convinced you of that, or this is somebody else's dream. You really didn't want that. You don't even like that. And you're going, okay. And how crazy it is that smart people will buy into that. I always say in the church, we always say the devil doesn't show up in a red suit with a pitchfork, because if he did, we would never talk to him. No, he shows up in beautiful packages that we love. And evil shows up that way. And a narcissist shows up in a beautiful package 9 times out of 10 and makes you feel like you are the bomb. And then they love bomb the heck out of you. And then little by little, this is what happens. It starts falling away.
And we're talking about an incident.
Now you stop all going along with.
I think we had a blip there. We're talking about, in this particular thing, intimacy or intimate relationships with the narcissist. But let's remember, we can have these same things with family members. We can have these same things show up with bosses or coworkers. Narcissistic tendencies and characteristics are not just reserved for intimate partners, husbands, wives, boyfriend, girlfriends. They're not just reserved for that. So,
right.
So yes, the next one, Devon, is sharing our truth. And that is a big one, because in the beginning of a relationship with a narcissist, that's all they want you to do is be open and be vulnerable. And you're so safe with me, and I'm safe with you. And they're listening, and they're listening, and they're listening, and they're finding all buttons, and they're finding all the little hurts and all the indiscretions that have been done. And I won't say to us, I'll say for us, because in the long run, everything, I believe, happens for us, even those relationships with the narcissist. They find all these things, and then they'll say, well, they'll do something intentionally to, again, a word we're going to go back to, gaslight. They'll do something intentionally to gaslight us and then turn around and hit that button where we have been vulnerable in the past, and they will begin the demolition process to where we don't want to trust.
It's horrific, and it damages us like peeling an onion. Little thin layers go away, and pretty soon there's nothing left of the onion. Candy ran away from one 24 years ago, and she points out they are great manipulators, and they are. And Heidi shares truth: wolf in sheep's clothing. Wow. Elizabeth gives the high five to that one. And I love this. The narcissist doesn't lose those traits simply because they go to work. They take their behaviors with them and may just disguise them a little more. It happens in the workplace a lot, especially if they have an underling who has to keep their job, obey.
Well, and that is actually one of the most toxic versions, because when a narcissist, male or female, is at the workplace and they have someone that they are working, that works beneath them, and they have to obey that person because their job depends on it, their livelihood depends on it, that is a recharging for the narcissist. So when they get home, it truly is hell on earth for their partner. It truly is, because they've had all day to recharge that battery.
It's just awful. Going to take a look at the next one. Hanging out with family. Boy, does that go away when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. They will convince you that there is dysfunction in your family that has been there since the dawn of time, and you just were too stupid to realize it, and you have been destroyed by your family, and they're having to pick up all the pieces, but they will love you through it, and they will be there when your family is not. And I went, and you think it can't happen, but it does every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in that family, it's the, you don't even like your family. And you stand there going, what? Well, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Well, no, you said, and this thing starts, the cycle starts, and you start looking at them going, did I say that? Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't, and then you don't want to argue with them because you already know you're not going to win it. So we end up capitulating or conceding to them and letting them have that moment, which is just goes back into our self-trust. We lose the ability, or not lose, we misplace the ability to stand up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves in those moments because we do truly feel emotionally trapped.
It's horrific. Then they can also convince you that your family is out to get you. Now that's that paranoia thing, like, oh my gosh. And this happened to me. I'm just going to say it. Your sister, who is my very best friend on the planet. She is my best friend. Sorry, I have a cat in my window saying, let me in. It was, your sister's always competing with you. And I'm going, no, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. But that's when I started drawing the line, because, there will be a tipping point that, and if you hit your tipping point, that is your time when you need to start making your exit. But we're going to stay on this list, sharing the good times. You don't share if you've enjoyed something away from them. That's a no-no. You stop sharing those. Is that what you're talking about here, Teri?
Yeah, it's sharing good times away from them and also sharing times with them. One of the things that you will notice with and I'm going to say toxic person here because this is not just a narcissist characteristic, but with a toxic person, is that if you have a special event coming up, whether it's a birthday, holidays, an award that you've been given, any kind of anything like that, you have this coming up, and about a week out, they're going to start picking arguments. They're going to start being distant, disconnected, picking and trying to dishevel the emotional, your base there of just feeling good about what it is you're doing. Say for instance, let's just say that, you were going for an award, Devon, And say you were in a relationship with a narcissist. This narcissist may choose to, about a week out, you're excited about this and you're like, oh wow, I'm excited. I mean, I'm honored, and this is a big achievement. Well, that doesn't sit well in the eyes of a narcissist, because one, other people are giving you attention. Two, you might just get too big for your britches and start to believe in yourself. So they start dismantling, being distant, being disconnected, not talking too much. And then you will start to, or you could start to shift into the caretaker mode. Well, what can I do? I'm going to start walking on the eggshells. And now I'm going to walk on cracked eggshells because I don't know what's going to set them off. Now you've lost the fun, the light, the excitement about this event, whether it's a birthday, a special occasion. We lose that excitement. And then we just get to that excitement with flatline enthusiasm.
They will suck the life out of every holiday there is. I used to dread holidays because there would be some horrible thing that would happen. All right, Candy Seaton, far away from your family as they can get if you let them. And we're having some other shout outs and some people who are listening. Suzanne, I was in my marriage. That's where she found hers. Jacqueline Marushka, this interview is amazing. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate you for jumping in there. Elizabeth always has great things to say. They can let anyone have a moment in the sunshine. They can't let anyone have a moment in the sunshine, no matter how large or small that moment may be.
Right. So yes, that is one of the not being able to enjoy the good times, because there's always worry that if you have too much fun, there's a price to pay for that. And if they are the one having fun, then if it's an award for your narcissist husband and wife, they're the one having the award. You had best bring out all the whistles, get the ticker tape parade. I mean, it better be a spectacle. Otherwise, you don't care about them and you're just jealous, which could not be further from the truth. But we know that we're not playing with someone. I mean, in a relationship with a narcissist, it's like every move it's a checkmate.
Yeah, for me, it was an award that was given out. I was 50% part of the outcome, 50% part of the project. My name was on the project, but conveniently got left off of the award and no mention was made. And I thought, but you don't say anything. Here's something else. When we get into the word salad, and we don't want to take up too much time on it, but fighting fair.
Yes.
They don't fight fair. They will take you down. They know your weak underbelly, and they know the places where you're weakest. Right.
And another thing a narcissist knows is they know that if you don't particularly enjoy the crazy making, they know just the right button combination to push to get you. I have seen very sane, level-minded people in a relationship with a narcissist, and they will find themselves speed dialing that narcissist back 20 times to get them to answer the phone because they've got one less thing to say. That's crazy making, because in a healthy mindset, this person wouldn't dare be doing that.
Right.
But we do it because one, we've been sucked into their world. We have been pulled into that, the mindset of just this complete web, and it's draining.
It is. And knowing that you're in that situation and knowing that things are not right in the fight. For instance, one tool that the narcissist will use is sleep deprivation, sleep abuse. If you're keeping you awake, screaming, keeping you engaged in a fight, and when you're exhausted, and get you so tired that you will literally agree to anything. You will say that the moon is blue. If it will shut them up, anything, you will do anything to stop it just so you can go to sleep. And that time is not going to literally erode your physicality to the place that you just go, I give up.
Right. And the other thing is they don't when I say they don't fight fair, they will drag your family into it. They will drag your past into it. They will drag your children into it. They will you know, accuse you or say they're going to report you for something about your children. They will say that if you leave the relationship, they're going to take the animals. They will go after everything that has a heartstring attached to it on your end. And at some point, I know this may sound like, well, good Lord, you know, but at some point, people, when they're willing to reach out and get that help, they recognize they do have their tipping point. They recognize they do have they're going to take the foot off of that throttle and start pumping those brakes. And
Right.
it can be an incredibly overwhelming and scary place to be, but there is light at the end of that. And believe it or not, at the end of this whole unraveling, after you've had this experience with this narcissist, you will actually find ways to be grateful for it, because you do recognize the resilience in yourself, and you do recognize that you're not broken. You've just misplaced some of those core strengths that you have, you know.
The thing that you can't do when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, our final point, is feel validated. You are never going to feel validated in a toxic relationship.
No, because that is the way they keep you there. Because you crave, you know, as human beings, we crave our very core is to belong. So when we meet someone and we get in a relationship with them and they are everything that we have ever hoped for, dreamed for, I mean, here it is. Prayers are answered. This is the person, right? And so we open up and we're so grateful for that. And then as time unfolds, we recognize that they're not showing up the way that they did. This is not growing out of love with somebody or getting tired in a relationship or a betrayal and then you're having problems. This is a very just gross unfolding that starts to happen, and it's hard to make sense of it. It's hard to understand that um, they they call the shots. You know, an argument with a narcissist or a relationship with a narcissist is not over with. I tell clients this all the time. An argument or a relationship with a narcissist is not over with until they say it is, or until you are willing to step outside of that comfortable and say it's over. And that
Right.
can be an incredibly scary place. But Devon, it is the most powerful place you will ever find yourself, because once you have had an experience, you have been on the crazy train with a narcissist, you are hell bent never to punch that ticket again. And you will really watch, you know, it does put people sometimes in a place of questioning, you know, I don't want to do that again. So, you know, everybody's got that tendency. That's why I say not every person that's just kind of not so nice person is a narcissist. Narcissists are individuals that are born with an inability to tap into empathy. They are born they already they're not born knowing how to manipulate, but as they grow, that is a skill set that they cultivate, and it comes very easily for them.
They find it works at an early age, so they accentuate and they work on that. Jacqueline says,
Absolutely.
please post this somewhere after it's over. We will have it here on our pages. We leave it up. I missed the beginning. I want to hear it all. So good. Thank you for this. Thank you
Thank
for being
you.
part of this, Jacqueline. And Elizabeth, my heart just breaks for those who are involved in some way with one of these people. It's so hard to watch someone you love live with a narcissist and not be able to leave. It is hard. You can't really, all you can do for someone in a situation. Now we move to the tools pretty quickly. The tools about getting out of a situation like this: make a plan.
Always have a plan. I realize that sometimes there is a knee-jerk reaction, and if your life is in imminent danger, absolutely go. You don't have to have a plan. Go to a safe place, go to a safe house, go to the police, go wherever it is that you need to go, and don't look back. Go, right? The other part of that is have that plan. Like Devon just said, have a plan, have people lined up. If you can put money away a little bit at a time, put money away a little bit at a time. If you can move certain things out of, your home that are your prized possessions, your most precious possessions that you may have that are family members or whatever, move those things out prior. And begin your own dismantling of the relationship, but not in a toxic way. You're beginning it because when you leave, you're not going to look back. You won't have to look back, because when you leave a relationship with a narcissist, it stays in your head for a long time, but you continue working on that daily.
In all caps, don't ever go back either. That is Candy, and you are so right, because they will try to hoover you. That's another buzzword we will talk about in another episode, but they will try to suck you back in. Oh, I've made a horrible mistake. I can't believe I did that. I will change, blah, 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 blah.
And
blah.
here we have, and if you really love me, you'll give me another chance.
Suzanne, it happened in my marriage. It was control. And that's what it really is all about. Heidi gives us a high five. Amen. And Candy also mentioned it's true. I find myself again after years of living with one. And we really do have a big decision to make when we're in that situation. And it is scary, but nothing is as bad as what you're living through. Here's another threat that you will have. They will go to your church and just try to destroy your reputation. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be people who believe manipulators. And you know what? But here's the deal, is eventually the facade falls off because they can't keep it up. They can't keep it up forever. So you know what? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Eventually you go, I'm going to get out of this. And that old adage from your mama turns out to be true. It is sticks and stones, and your words are not going to have power over me anymore. And that's the beginning of the tool.
Absolutely. And we want to shift from being survivors, surviving this, to thriving, right? Surviving almost keeps us in this place of like, oh, I made it out. We want to be in a place where we're thriving, where we're not, where we don't go back, but we have an appreciation for what it was. And we can share that wisdom and knowledge with other people who have been there or who find themselves going into that direction. And again, there are those not nice people who will tag them as narcissists, but a lot of times those are the word that I use with clients is, they're wounded people who have been traumatized, and they have some of the, passive aggressive manipulation, isolation. They have some of that stuff because they have some control issues. That's not the same thing as a bona fide narcissist, because those folks are no joke.
So making the plan, executing the plan, do not let them back in. Another thing is to start taking care of you. We talk about taking care of your the things that you are that are on the list, the things on the list, start doing those things one at a time. Reach out to your family, have a family, go to the family dinner, spend a week at your mama's house, go be in the lap of love and people who love you. Start writing, have a vision board of the things that you have remembered. And it's going to take a while to even remember what your dreams were.
I have people show up at my office all the time that will say, I don't even know who I am. I don't know who I am. And I say this to them, you might have forgotten who you are along the way, and then you forgot that you've forgotten, but I assure you, you can remember. It just takes your willingness to be vulnerable with yourself and trusted people that you can trust. Seek out, find a coach, find a therapist, find someone, a church group, someone that you can, a place or people that can hold space for you, not necessarily to commiserate and to stay in all of this minutia of what was done to me and this is horrible and bless your heart, but that will hold you up and allow you to heal from this, because there is a lot of bless your heart in this, because it's a nasty, nasty bite when you've been bitten by the narcissist.
And it's going to be a while before you trust again. So I want to suggest as another tool is do not hop back into another relationship that is a one-on-one, you're my significant other. Don't hop from one to another, because 9 times out of 10, if it's fast, it's going to end up being the same relationship, and you'll try to fix it in this next relationship, and it will be worse than the last one.
Well,
So
and that's the telltale right there, Devon, is that when you when you get out of a relationship with that narcissist, you have not done the healing work that you need to do in order to be healthy and be centered and regulated again. So I can assure you that when you leave a relationship with a narcissist, if you don't do that work, they're out there. They will spot you. They will smell you like a steak on the grill, and they will gobble your ass up if you're not careful. And so I'm telling you, you've got to do your work. And that is the one, I've told people this whole month, February is the month of love. And I'm like, love you more. Love you just a little more than you did yesterday. And if you're in that relationship and you find yourself in that relationship, listen to gosh, there's things on podcasts, there's things on YouTube, there's all sorts of helpful tools out there.
Right.
And to reach out to Devon or I, because we have both been in similar situations with narcissists, and we can help guide you along, we can coach you through this.
It can get legal, and it can be afraid. Restraining orders and orders of protection are there for situations like this. If you feel like you're in danger, the block is a great function on a phone. Not just unfriend, I mean totally block from social media. And you might even want to get off social media for a while. I'm just going to say, you might want to snooze yourself and just kind of get off social media. Take a break if you need to, but don't let them know what you're doing. Block. You do not have to take their calls, and stop defending yourself. You do not need to defend yourself to them or to anybody else. Anybody who would believe their stuff is not your friend, was not your friend, and they can be easily swayed. Let them go. I blessed you. I release you. Don't have to hate them, because they don't know. They've been lied to and manipulated too. So bless and release, and look around and see who's left.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys the comments are just great. People have been, one of my favorite. It's so damn true. Thank you, Mona.
Mona, you're my kind of girl.
And Nicole, people, so important. And checking in from Kansas, Sarah Morgan, love you, buddy. We love you too. Bless and release. Amen. Yes, we do that. And Jacqueline giving our hands, our clapping hands. And this is important from Elizabeth. I may contact you. Someone I love needs help. Absolutely. Reach out to either one of us. Teri, give your information.
I can be found, you can DM me here, or I can be found at teripugh.com, and email and phone number are both on that website.
All right. You can reach me here through Facebook, or you can go to launchdateshow@gmail. We're on, social media is kind of the medium that we use right now. So we hope that you guys will, the basic part is reach out.
Yes.
And if you really miss having a significant other, take it from me, get a dog.
Get a fish. I mean, seriously. I mean, truthfully, a dog, a cat, something that you can pour your love into, and that can love unconditionally, because you're not going to find that with a narcissist. So once you bless and you release, you lock that damn deadbolt.
See, and that's why we do what we do.
You lock it and you throw that key away. You don't answer the door again.
Well, we both do coaching, and we both can help you talk through these situations, and we urge you to reach out. And if not to us, reach out to someone, but someone who knows about that particular buzzword. Not all therapists do. I love this from Sarah Morgan. Get a horse and a chicken.
There you go.
Works for me. Y'all have a great day. And by the way, we have both just joined Clubhouse. I love you, Jacqueline.
Love that place.
Yeah. And Clubhouse is a new app. It's social media. And we're going to be starting having some of our our meetings every Wednesday. Make sure that you subscribe wherever you're watching this and click like so you can find out when we're going to be on again. Watch this in the replay and help us in the algorithms by putting replay or just a little comment. That always helps boost us up in the algorithm so more people can find us. Speaking of more people, put somebody's name and tag them in this if you think they could benefit from this.
And if you don't want to out them on social media, send it to them in a private message. You know, because sometimes people are in relationships with a narcissist and the narcissist is watching their social media. So, you know, sometimes you got to be sneaky when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, because believe me, they are sneaky. So, you know, I mean, it's not that you're being dishonest. You're just trying to find ways to survive until you can thrive. And sometimes that's a little more challenging than we would like it to be. But once you start, whether you're running forward, taking leaps, or scooting your feet, as long as you're in a forward motion, you're moving in a healthy direction. So
remember what your mama always told you: don't tell everybody all your business.
There you go. There you go.
There's always your ride or dies. Now you can tell. Now I tell Mona all my business. I tell you all my business, but don't tell everybody all your business. They don't all need to know your business.
That's right. Because then you'll find your business on social media somewhere.
Yes, someone will repeat your business back to you that you don't even know. Right. All right, bye everybody. We're so glad that you were part of our show today, and
yes,
God bless you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.